This is your one and only Firespark81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Arc Mods Weekly. I got some amazing mods for you per the usual, so let's get to it. The first mod we are taking a look at today is called Dino Costumes. So let's go into our engrams here. If you type in table, you can see it's right here. You can learn it at level 1. Going to cost you 0 engram points to learn it. Going to cost you 20 hide, 5 metal ingots, 50 thatch, and 50 wood to create the crafting table. Once you have the crafting table, you come on over here and place it down, and it gives you access to a ton of different skin options within the game. Also, aberrant versions of all of the non-aberrant dinos. So you can, if you're playing on a non-aberration map, and you want an aberrant dino, you can just make them look like an aberrant dino. You also have all of the bionic costumes, the bone costumes, different wyvern costumes, and different rock elemental costumes as well. You got the bone wyvern, you got the bionic T-Rex, so just tons of different things. They have varying costs, nothing too outrageous, pretty simple stuff for the most part. Let's take a look at some of the costumes here. We got this raptor here. You think it's an aberrant raptor, but it's not. It's a normal raptor. We just have the aberrant skin on him, so there you go. You can see how that works out pretty well. I think it's pretty neat. It's not much of a difference between aberrant versions and non-aberrant versions, other than that little bit of the glowing stripes on them. We can drop in a bionic costume, get yourself a bionic dino. Then I have the rock golem here. Right now he's got the jungle elemental skin on. We can drop that on and get the lava one. The texture on the lava one is kind of meh. I don't know if it's just me. My textures have been really weird lately, or what it is, but I don't really care too much for the texture on that one. I like the texture on the snow. The snow one looks really neat. He's all white and cool looking. Then over here we have a example of the bionic stego, and then we have the bone trike. So nothing too outrageous. Just I know a lot of people out there like the ability to put the costumes on their dinos, so I thought this mod would be a good one. I wanted to point it out, show it to everybody, because it's got a lot of different options in there. All right, on to the next. All right, the next mod we are taking a look at is called Simple Spawners. Now, there's no engrams for this one. This is an admin only mod. It allows you to add special spawners wherever you want on the map, spawning pretty much whatever you want and the way you want, which is really, like, this mod is absolutely amazing mod. Amazing mod. Like, I highly recommend it for any server out there. So we have the Scorched Earth spawner, we have the Aberration spawner, we have a Marine spawner, we have the Special spawner, which spawns like event creatures and stuff like that. That's what I'm looking at right here in front of me. It also allows you to spawn bosses. We have the Wyvern spawner. And last but not least, we have the base spawner, which allows you just to spawn all your normal base creatures. You can see here I have the special spawner out, and it is spawning the bunny dodos, and there's zombie dodos around here somewhere. Over here we go. I think nope, that's more bunnies. There are zombie dodos around here, trust me. I have it set to spawning, and I did see one when I was testing it, so I'm just not 100% sure where they're at. But we got a ton of bunny dodos around here. So let's take a look at how this works here. You hold down E. When you first place it, it's going to take it a second. It has to load. Once it loads, then it'll show you the E for the settings. You have a ton of different options. So first thing, you can disguise these things, because I'm sure that's something you all would want to do. If you have these, you can have it as an orb, which I don't really like that one. Honestly, your best disguises are the rock. I mean, it blends right into anywhere that there's other rocks and stuff like that. If it's not a rock area, you can also use a bush, and it looks just like a bush. You never know any difference. Now, if you're not an admin, or if you're not in single player, you can't affect these at all. So, your players will just come up and they won't be able to do anything with it. They can't damage it, they can't activate it, they can't mess with any of the settings, nothing. It'll just look like a normal bush that they can't interact with. We also have the snow rock if you have it in a snowy area. Then if it's in the water, if you're using the marine one, you can just disguise it as a fish, just set it at the bottom, it'll just be a fish, you know. I mean, it doesn't move, so I think honestly a rock would be better, but it's still a cool option that you have. And then the clouds just look weird, and I'm not 100% sure how you would go about using those or where you would put those at. And then we already saw the orb, and then we can remove the disguise to put it back to its normal. We can set the chance that a baby will spawn. Now, if the creature that you're spawning does not have a baby version, it'll just ignore that whole chance there. You can destroy all the spawners that all the special simple spawners, so all the spawners of the same type. So say you placed a bunch around your map and you don't want them anymore, you have a bunch of them spawning, say, I don't know, dragons or whatever, and you don't want them anymore, you can just destroy them all. Before you do that though, you can destroy all wild creatures, which will destroy all creatures from that spawner, and then you can just destroy all those spawners and completely remove them from the map without any issues. You can also count the creatures in the radius, so we can see here there's apparently 0, which is kind of weird that it's showing 0 because there's a bunch of them already and they're already laying eggs. Look, there's a bunny dodo egg. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. You can also force the creatures to spawn. You can set how many creatures spawn in the radius. So you have 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then it goes 8, 12, 16, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 100. And you notice it gets more red to show. I'm assuming that shows strain on the server. Then we have the creatures per spawn. So every time it does the spawn option, this is how many creatures will drop out of the sky. I recommend doing anywhere from 4 to 8. I mean, if it's something you want to be rare, you can do 2. And you can use this to create super rare spawns, which is another thing I think is absolutely fantastic. You don't have to use this to just spawn, say, oh, you can see there, some just spawned. We got some more dodos. As I was saying, you don't have to use this just to bring stuff into your game that isn't normally in your game. So you don't have to use this to bring, say, Scorched Earth into normal, the island or whatever. You can actually spawn island creatures, but you can spawn them at a higher level. So if you want super rare high levels, you can spawn them past the max. So you see here it says set max level, and the current max level is 120, but I can increase that. I can increase that as high as I want to go. So you can have like super rare spawns doing that. You can just leave them at the current max level. You can add one. You can subtract down if you want to go below that. So, I mean, it's up to you. See, we just knocked it down to 70. We can take it back up to 120. But, it gives you full control over what you want to do, which is absolutely fantastic. I love that you can go over the normal spawn level for your map. So you can create like super special spawns and stuff like that. Then you can affect the spawn radius, so we can do large, medium, and small. So I'm going to show spawn radius, and then we're going to take a look at the different sizes. So right now this is small. You can see small is pretty big for being small. All right, let's go to change the radius to medium. So maybe we have to, doesn't look like it changed much. Let's turn that off and turn that back on and see. Yeah, so there we go. I had to reset it. So there's the medium spawn. It's pretty big, a little bit bigger than the small. And then let's go to the large. So we'll set it to large and then show radius, and then there's the large radius. So it's a pretty decent size in which it, radius in which it can spawn if you set it to large, which, will allow it to spread out more if you're doing like the super rare spawns or something like that. I think I covered everything there. We can go into the creatures and you can see it's got everything in nice clean menus. You can spawn, all the specials. Like I said, this is the special one. So this one does skeletal creatures during event only, event creatures, alpha bosses, alpha creatures. So you can have special alpha spawns in certain locations, and you can change their level to make them even higher and more, difficult to beat and stuff like that. All right, so let's take a look at some of the others here. Let's change this radius back down to small and turn off the radius there. Okay, so I have another one over here on up yonder, which is spawning beavers. You can see we have beavers spawning here, a level 91 there, or 23 there. They're just spawning everywhere around here. And I have it right here. Now this is your base spawner. It Yeah, no, I don't remember if I had this one set to higher levels. Yeah, I do have it 170s, can spawn up to 170. But so this is just your base creatures, and it has them all alphabetical, you know, in little separate menus, so you can hunt them down and spawn specifically what you want to spawn, which is really nice. And it has all of them have all of the same features that we've already went over. We're just going to take a look at the different spawners and the creatures, or spawners in action and the creatures they can spawn. So you can see up here where there would normally be no beavers, I have beaver spawning, because, you know, why not have some beaver spawning next to your base? And then if we go down here, I actually have the scorched, or some more scorched earth creatures spawning. We have some mantises. Let me, you know, I just completely flew past all of them. Let's go back up here. So I have a spawner over here, and you can see I have mantises spawning, and I also have these little oil jug bugs. Or no, that's a water jug. I have water jug and oil jug bugs spawning at the same time. So you can have one spawner spawning multiple different things. If we go to the creatures here, you can see all the different ones I have. You just click them. That's it. That's all you got to do. You just click them, and it either turns them on or turns them off. If they're green, that means it's currently spawning those creatures. And as far as I can tell, the max creature in radius and creatures per spawn, it is per creature you have selected. Oh, I also forgot, you can do the time. You can set the times. I completely missed that. So you can set how often you want them to spawn, and it will only spawn until it hits that max. So if you have it spawning every 5 minutes and you have your max set to four or whatever, once it hits that cap, it's not going to spawn them anymore. But from what I can tell, this here is per creature. So it's going to have up to a max of 4 of each of these creatures that I have here in this radius, and it's going to spawn, every time it spawns, it's going to spawn 4 of each of those creatures. So that's it. That's pretty much all there is to that one. It's an absolutely fantastic mod, and I highly suggest it for any server out there, just because it gives you that much more customization on your server and, you know, what there is to do. And like I said, you could do the super rare stuff, the bosses, all kinds of other cool stuff. All right, on to the next mod. The next mod we're taking a look at is called TC's Auto Reward. So if you go into your Ingrams here, and we type in REW, right here it is. It's the reward vault. It's going to cost you 0 Ingrams to learn it. You have to be level 5. It's going to cost you 25 hide, 20 raw metal, 30 stone, and 50 wood. Once you have it, you place it on a wall, and it's going to be janky. It's going to be a little janky for me here. Let me see if I can get it to place. Oh, it wants to place on the inside. Okay, let's see if we can go up here and get it to place somewhere. Here's the vault. You just place it on the wall like so, and then if you're an admin, you get the option for the admin menu. If you're not an admin, you will only see the reward menu, which looks like this. So you have different packs of rewards that you can choose from, and you have ARC, which is the currency, which is rewarded to you by the admins on your server, and you can use that currency to buy different packs. Now, I just have this one set up here as an example. I'm going to show you, though, a little more detail of the admin menu and all that good stuff. So if we go into the admin menu here, you can see that we have Firespark 81 here and my current ARC, and you can add ARC to that, and you just click it and set it to whatever you want. So like so, and then you click update player, and that's it. That's all there is to it. Now, the cool thing about this is it's completely configurable in your INI file to the point where you can set it as a drip feed, you can set it as a monthly, you can set it pretty much whatever you want. Fortnite, so it's every 2 weeks, every so many hours. You can do it per playtime. So if you wanted to, you can set it in your INI file. So everybody who's playing on the server will get ARC, say, every hour of playtime. Set it to 50. They get 50 ARC per every hour they play. It's a great incentive to get people to play on your server. And on top of that, you can actually reward them per whatever you want. So you can say, if you don't want to do it per hour, you can set it to, say, monthly. And if you set this, say, 50,000, well, then I'm going to get 50,000 every month. And then we can go into the packs here, and we can add whatever packs we want, and we can do it all through this menu here. So we're just going to type in pack 2. and we'll click add pack. So there's pack 2. Now we go over here and we just click it and we click add items. And then here is all the different items, even modded items. So here we have all of the skins from the mod I showed earlier. They're all in here and we can add those to a pack. If the items from a mod are not listed in here for whatever reason, you can use whatever the spawn code is, so the blueprint path, which is the spawn code, and add that in and add them that way. And you can fully configure this every bit of what you want. So let's go in here to the ammo. Let's add some trank arrows to this. And we don't want them to have 1. We want them to have 1,000 trank arrows. So you just type it in, hit enter, and there you go. And let's see, what else do we want to add here? Let's do weapons. Let's go ahead and give them a decent bow. Let's do a decent crossbow. So here we go. We can add in the crossbow. Now, if you notice, once I added that, it reset the trank arrow. So we're gonna have to go back and do those. So it's best to set all of the number options after the fact, after you're done with everything. And now that we're in here and we've added it and we've updated it to the pack, we also have the option to change the durability. We can change the rarity, so we can make it, a mastercraft if we want to, and we can change the durability to whatever we want. So we can say, let's just give it 500. We can change the damage if we want as well. We can do 200% damage, and on top of that, there's a button here. You don't see it, but if you highlight over it, it gives you the option to say that it's a blueprint or not. So now that's a blueprint. Now we can update the pack cost. So let's make this cost 1,000. Now, if we click update pack, we go in there, you see there it is. It's all set, good to go. We can change it at any time, all of that stuff. So now if we back out and we go into the reward menu, you can see that we have pack 2 here. It's good to go. It's going to give us a blueprint and 2,000 trank arrows, and we can just click purchase. Now all of that shows up in the inventory of the structure here. So now we have our blueprint. We can go craft that as many times as we want, and we have all of our arrows in there as well. So I mean, it's completely configurable, and I think it's a really, really, really great option for any server out there, because I mean, not only does it allow you to do events and then give people, an award when they win the event and let them spend it on whatever they want to spend it on, you can also give them incentives to play the game. So you could put in, I mean, if we go back in here, we'll just go back in here real quick. Let's do packs. Let's do gun. It doesn't really matter what we name it. So we got gun here. We're going to go into add items. We're going to go into the weapons here, and it's going to show you what you can really do to give people an amazing incentives. So we're going to click the shotgun there. We're going to add it. We're going to update the pack, and we're going to click on it again, and we're going to change it. So we're going to give it 500 durability, 700% increase in damage, and it is an ascendant, and it's a blueprint. All right, so let's make it cost 5,000. Okay, so that's an amazing gun. Like, that's fantastic. We'll update the pack. There you go. So you can get an Ascendant shotgun blueprint with 500 durability and 700% increase in damage. That, if you do the setup to where it trickles in per, say, hour or whatever you play the game, say give them 50 arcs per hour, they're going to want to play more and more and more to try to earn that weapon. And I mean, you can do all kinds of different stuff like that. I mean, it's an amazing option to give incentives for people to play on your server. It's also an amazing option for people or for server admins to reward people for events and stuff that you hold on your server. Absolutely fantastic mod. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I 100% recommend it for anybody or any admins out there who are super active on their server. Even if you're not, I highly recommend it as an option to get people to play on your server. But that's all I have for you this week. So if you enjoyed what you saw, consider hitting that sub button. I want to give a big thank you to my Patreon supporters for making this episode possible. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to join my elite crew of Patreon supporters, check out the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and show your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.